Well, I think there's a lot of market chatter about, what is going to be forthcoming under the new Governor Ueda regime. But the reality, as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, is that inflation pressures do seem to be building on a continuous basis. And of course, the BOJ does not want to push back too hard, but if, for example, wage inflation continues to tick upward, which it seems to be doing, then I think at some point there will be, a path to some sort of normalization. How that normalization is defined, of course, is anybody's guess. But directionally, I think that's probably the direction we're eventually going to see the Bank of Japan taking.
I've got to ask you about the shunto, and obviously, we're going to get some more clarity on that on March the 15th. But in terms of, you've got this divergence between all of the big firms, and they're suggesting that they're going to be following the union demands. We've seen some of them going over the top, like Nintendo, I'm thinking of fast retailing, Aeon. But the bulk of the businesses, the small to medium enterprises, do you foresee that they're going to follow suit and have these gains that are anywhere near what the big firms are going to be paying out?
Well, naturally, there's going to be a gap and a lag, frankly, between the large companies and their actions and the SMEs in the nation. But having said that, just given the overall level of the cost of living, given energy prices, given all sorts of consumer prices, given expectations about consumer prices going forward, in pretty much every survey that you look at, I think it is bound to be a trickle-down effect. Again, it will take time. It's not going to be instantaneous. And clearly, the SMEs in general don't have the profit margins to, withstand a big shock of a sudden increase in wages for their staff. So I think it will be gradual over time, but I do think that it's a question of when, not if.
It is a question of when, not if, Kathy. And when does that when happen?
I think it's already begun to happen. I mean, we're seeing, at the consumer level already a lot of stories in the press, a lot of talk shows discussing this. I saw the other day on Aoyamadori a protest of basically the placard said, workers are not slaves. And I don't think they're representing workers from large companies, frankly. So I think there's really building pressures. And remember, after decades of deflation and stagnation, where essentially compensation salary levels have really not budged in Japan for a very long time, you're now facing a situation where the populace is simply, discontented with the situation. And so I think, again, it depends on the industry. It depends on a lot of factors. And I also think this will probably trigger, for many companies, like some of the companies you've just mentioned, a whole rethink about how are employees evaluated and compensated, not just this based on time and seniority measurement, but rather on a more performance and output-based assessment. So I think that shift is probably a healthier one longer term anyway.